Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. So, today my face is explained because I woke up at 6 a.m. today, and since 7, we've been doing many things, and I just finished 20 minutes ago. So, I was doing so many things that I even forgot to eat. And I'm really, my face is really tired because of the sun and the wind and the sun. Um, so that's why you will see this face. Today, in one of the moments that we sat around the pyramid, I just asked to myself, if I am tired today that I didn't do anything, how I'm gonna be for the event in February 22nd, 2022, with so many people and so many things to do. And my higher self said, well, you are asking that from the point of view of Matias. And I said, who else? And it said, well, in that moment, you are supposed to be I am. So, so I guess I don't know what is going to happen in those days, but I guess that I will be fine. And once said this, with my mind mostly asleep, I will try to explain the ninth dimension. So let's see, from where can I start to explain this? Let's see, how do I explain this? Because for the new ones, I would say that I never know exactly what I'm going to say. So I just get the idea when as I am speaking with you. Let's see if I can do what I want to show to you. No, I couldn't do what I wanted to show you. So let's go to the seventh dimension, because I am not willing to do what I want to show. Um, Remember that the seventh dimension is irradiating its light towards 12 directions. Remember that each one of them creates a torus, from each one of its directions. So what happened with this torus is that they start to create a circle, as you can see. So it's not only that one torus creates many different how do you say, many different like a three-dimensionality, like this, okay, like three-dimension, like different lines creating a 3D mold of a torus, is not only like this that appear, but also they multiplied by 12. I mean 6 torus. Okay, we have 6 torus. We have like 6 torus here. That that multiply themselves. So it's like having this torus here, and we multiply it in all directions. So as I said, the torus is like the shape of an apple, and the apple is created by that, because once you have one symbol of the infinite, it starts to multiply in 3 dimensions, like all the filaments around, creating the shape of an apple. And so in the 8th dimension, what happened is that there are many of these torus interacting each other, so they start to create like this pattern that is not like a flower, is a sphere. Okay, so it create the 8th dimension, create this beautiful flower of a sphere that we have here. So what happened here? That this circle that we have here, the crust of the sphere, has many links, crosses, dots, nodes that matches and create these patterns around, like the surface of the planet, for example. So now remember that each one of these nodes are the creation of the crossing of 2 lines. One line is the line of time. Let's do it again. One in this direction is the line of time. The other one in that direction is the line of space. So in the middle, they create a node that will become matter. And this node is something that we call here and now. Okay, perfect. So yeah. So this means that each one of these nodes here of the matter will be the conjunction of the constant of time and space living through the pressure of here and now, creating matter. So now remember that these nodes are not just a few here in the sphere, are all around in the sphere. They create the sphere. Because remember that a few videos ago, I explained that a sphere is basically the conjunction of thousands and billions of dots, of vertices. Because a sphere is the product of the fractalization of a triangle. So a triangle fractalized thousands and billions of times, it creates a sphere. A circle, then a sphere. Okay? So they multiply and they create that. So as you see, each cross of time and space is billions of these nodes of matter that create the crust of this sphere. So let's try to remember what we spoke in the third dimension and the sixth dimension. Now, remember, simply, the third dimension. How do we made a figure in the second dimension to become third dimension? We have to find the vanishing point. So we make the vanishing point here and we connect with the vertices. And there we have a tetrahedron. Tetrahedron. So that's the third dimension, the depth. Okay. So now where do we have the sixth dimension? The sixth dimension will come with a fractalization of the third dimension. So for example, let's fractalize here the third dimension. And what we obtain is a Merkaba. So from the Merkaba, it starts to create many realities. Then you can check again dimension 3 and dimension 6. So now, why I am explaining the 3 and the 6 here? Because in the third dimension, we have here that is the multiplication of the triangle that creates all these vertices that as much they divide, they start to create what? The circumference. It creates the idea of a sphere. As you see here, it kind of starts to create the idea of a sphere. As many multiplications it lives. And what was the sixth dimension? Is the connection and fractalization of all this structure, creating new possibilities, new potentialities of the same pattern, creating many others. Do you remember that in the sixth dimension, each one of the nodes of these possibilities, of this creation, starts to irradiate the energy towards the seventh dimension? So this structure is the one that starts to manifest the idea of the seventh dimension, which is the light. Can you see the depth? So now here we have now a sphere. You see the depth of the sphere? Because the third dimension created the sphere and the sixth dimension is transforming all of them into the core, into the seventh dimension. So now look at this. The same structure that with pressure creates the light is created by the irradiation of the light that they create. So that's why the irradiation of the light of the seventh dimension creates these patterns of the eighth dimension of time and space. This is the paradox of the universe, in which the created is the creator. So usually when we, as humans, we try to explain the reality through a line. So first this, second this, third that. But when we reach these dimensions, it's almost impossible. Look at this. It's very complicated to understand what is first and what is next. So the reason of the paradox here, the creator that is the created that is the creator, emerges from the concept that none of them is real. It's like, what is first, the egg or the chicken? Which one is the first one? The third dimension or the sixth dimension? The seventh dimension or the first dimension? The fifth dimension or the ninth dimension? Which one is the first one? Not even the eighth dimension and the seventh dimension, sixth dimension, fifth dimension, fourth dimension, third dimension, second dimension, and first dimension, all of them, they don't have a process of creation in a linear way, because they are all creating themselves once and again, once and again. So they are projections of each other. That explains that all of them are just a hologram. And the hologram is in the ninth dimension. I'm so sorry, but eventually these complex topics would come along. So what are all the other dimensions that we have been watching until now? Basically, all those dimensions are just concepts, parts that helps us understand the hologram of the ninth dimension. So it's really difficult to explain this with the very human body experience, because we don't have that. The only way in which we can kind of understand this is with the cinema. So I wrote about this in the blog. If you want to read better how this dimension is related with cinema. So basically, when you get to understand the ninth dimension is when you realize that you have been the producer, the writer, the filmer, the one that films, filmmaker, the one that paid the film, the camera guy, all of it, the plot, everything. You're all of that. This is why the ninth dimension is the dimension of God. So why the dimension of God? Because basically is a dimension where you find the one that does everything, that creates the whole thing. So the ninth dimension, in order to create the whole rest, first must have the idea that itself is a history. So that's how it starts to think about that history. And this is why the first thing that appears with the ninth dimension is the mind. Remember, we have spoken about the 7 laws of the universe. So in the ninth dimension, the 7 laws are created. First of all, the thought, the mentalism. Everything is mind. So it creates the idea of the story. When it creates the idea of the story, it projects the story. Correspondence. It creates the music for that story, vibration. It creates the timeline, the rhythm, the conflict, cause and effect, the antagonist and the main character of the story, polarity. And by that starts the action, which is generation. So when this being creates these 7 laws, is able to design the movie. What's movie? Movement. Movement. What was movement? Eternity. What is eternity? Constant. The constant, what is? Time and space. And we humans call that love. So the universe starts to move through love and by love to create its story. So, first of all, to start the story, it must have an end. So creates the idea of a beginning and an end of the story, of the plot. And that's the first dimension. Alpha, Omega. But it's just an idea for a movie. The second step is to create the storyboard, which is to connect the ideas that will happen in between the beginning and the end. That's the storyboard of the movie, of the story. The synopsis of the story. So then it will design the characters and the scenery of this story, where it's going to happen, who is going to do it. And that's the third dimension. So then in the narrative, it doesn't matter if it uses the resources of time, like going to the future, coming back to the present, going to the future, and going to the past to explain something. Mixing the timeline is a very important resource in the narrative. So that's the fourth dimension. So once this person has everything, now it can write the script. So the script will describe exactly what everyone is going to say, what will happen, why it happened, etc. That's the script. Fifth dimension. This is the fifth dimension. So once it put together the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth dimension, let's start with the filming. So they start to practice with the actors, they start to make the arrangements in the script, and they start to put all the things, all the work on the scenery and so on. And suddenly during that process, they realize that, hey, we can do it better. We can do something transcendental here. We can change some aspect of some of the script, of the dialogues, or we can change the scenery to do something better, or this would be better explained this way. We can also make these characters evolve much faster, or I don't know, make changes, put some different concepts that makes much more rich the idea of the script, of the story. That's the sixth dimension. To remake, create, expand, do something different during the process of filming. Once we have everything ready, all transformed, so there someone says, light, camera, action. Light, camera, action, seventh dimension. So in the seventh dimension, what do? The photon starts to bring the images, the light colors from the actors, the scenery, everything, and it goes straight to the camera by the lens. And as in the old cinema, the light waves, the light particles, they get attached in a thin how do you say película? Just a moment. A cellulose film. Yes, sorry. A cellulose film. Yes, a cellulose film where it is registered, and this cellulose film is the one that rotates once and again, registering, recording everything that happened every second. And that's the eighth dimension. Remember, seventh dimension is the light that allows the things that are there to be registered into the camera, into the cellulose. And the eighth dimension is the same cellulose that is the celluloid that is recording every data of the light. So now what do? We take the eighth dimension, which is the film. Film is the something that is really thin. So we take the eighth dimension, the film, and we do the opposite. Instead of receiving the light from the sixth dimension, what we do is to project the light from the seventh dimension. Before we were receiving the light from the sixth dimension, the transformation that was going on there, we receive it to create the seventh dimension. And now we project the light from the seventh dimension through the eighth dimension to project into the wall the film, the hologram of everything that we have done before. And that hologram doesn't exist. It contains everything that you have done, but you cannot touch it. It's just an idea. That's the ninth dimension. So now this movie has many viewers, many people that is watching the movie. So all those people, each one of them will think something different from the movie, will feel something different from the movie, and will activate a will to do something from the movie. Everyone will feel something different. Everyone will perceive something different from the movie. But all of them will be inspired. And the inspiration of the movie will make that in the moment when they are willing to go out of the cinema, they will decide to do their own story, to make their own movie. So, who was God in all this process? It was not the producer, not the actors and actresses, was not the one that financed it, was not the the writer, was not the musician. God was the idea that moved the emotion, the idea that moved to do all those things. God was the idea. That's it. So basically what we are doing is to telling the story of the idea of God in different stories, in different ways, in different movies. Living our own movies. So every one of us are living its own movie, its own story, according to the inspiration that they got from the main idea. So, as you have seen, some humans love drama, some humans love war movies, some love romantics, some love real stories, some love science fiction, others comedies. So everything that summarizes the ninth dimension is the inspiration on the idea. So basically, what God is trying to say to us from the ninth dimension is not that God is the creator of the idea, is that God is the idea. That's why in the ninth dimension, it says, I am the idea. And the key of all that idea is the inspiration on that idea. This is why the ancient Atlanteans used to understand the ninth dimension as the divine inspiration. So what is inspiration? It comes from the Latin inside, spira, breathe, inspira. And the whole universe summarized in to breathe, to inspire once and again. That in Latin you may say respira, respiration, to breathe. The eternal respiration. And what is the respiration? Is the spirit, spirare, spirit. Spirit. The spiritual level. The ninth dimension is the real plane, the real level where you find the spirits. And the only way in which you can connect to that dimension is by respiration, breathing, and the divine inspiration. And the divine inspiration is that moment when, without comprehension of anything, you understand it all. Ninth dimension. The vibration for today is Lu. The statement for today is, I am love that nourish. The code for today is to connect. When the being realizes everything that has within and what it can be obtained from. When the being realizes everything that has within and what it can be obtained from its projections in the external world, decides to connect all those things or beings that were created. Connecting is the attribute that makes it be aware that all things are united somehow, and that for all of them to work, nourish, move in coherence, they need interconnectivity. This way becomes neater of dreams, of ideas, of actions, sounds, lights and forms, neater and linker of worlds and realities. Let's go to alignment. Sit comfortable, close your eyes, and concentrate in your breathing. Take a deep breath as I concentrate in the space I find myself in, and using my imagination, I expand all of it towards the infinite until it all disappeared, letting me floating, levitating in the nothingness, in the cosmic void. Breathe. take a deep breath, and I recognize that all this void is here for me to imagine, to design, to create. And I use this space to bring to me the ideas that inspire me. All those things that had inspired me in my life and that inspires me now. Places, ideas, emotions, music, people, all of it. I bring all this that inspires me towards me, and I inspire all of it. I observe my inspiration. I become aware of all those things that inspire me in my life and that I have been able to manifest them, to integrate them within me, and how many other inspirations I wasn't able to manifest. I become fully aware of my breathings in front of each one of these inspirations. I become fully aware that all these inspirations are the ones that inspire me to be, that inspire the being that I am. And so I recognize that all of them nourish the being that I am, the divinity that I am. And I become aware that as I inspire, I see myself as the own inspiration. I am the inspiration for the whole universe to be. I am the inspiration of all inspirations. Aye, Eloha, Elohim. Aye, Eloha, Elohim. Aye, Eloha, Elohim. I am the love that nourishes. I am the love that nourishes. I am the love that nourishes. I believe I am the inspiration. I am God. head, home. Take a deep breath, bringing all this consciousness throughout all your body, throughout all your being, and each one at its own time. Come back here and now. Thank you everybody for being here and now. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.